Do you want to send me a notification because something broke? Unstable. Okay. We're gonna power through this. This is so close. I feel so close. On the large breakpoint, that's the last one that's left. As soon as I hit LG, I see that the yellow doesn't grow anymore. It grows up to here. Then it even goes down just a bit, because right before we hit the LG breakpoint, right at the end of this, it is 1023 pixels wide. And then we hit LG, and it is 1025 pixels wide, and then it is 944 pixels wide. Sorry, I think my connection is terrible. At least Twitch shows me that it's terrible. We'll see. Do I have to change anything at the largest breakpoint? I do, because if I don't, then this one will still apply. And it will keep this exact calculation. So I need to set it at least to something. Can I do auto? Can I do full? Okay, auto brings it back to... Okay, so it works well all the way... Come here, Safari. It works well all the way up until here, and then it jumps back. So auto isn't it. And I assume full is the same thing. But if I then set it to 5XL, right? But it seems to be off by a static value. This seems to not change. Wait, is all of this unnecessary? Wait, is all of this unnecessary? If on the largest breakpoint go with width screen. It doesn't work because it's 5XL. This value, where's that gap coming from? So this is this PX10 that it has, and that is on the outside of the yellow. And then it's also MX Auto. It says you're centered on the page. If we go to a breakpoint before that, this is the 9XL, but here it doesn't have the margin on the side. Okay. Which means nothing to me. Does it? Maybe. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. So if I don't set a width on the largest screen, the largest breakpoint, the LG breakpoint, and I end up here, oh no. Oh no, I think all of this was... I think this was very unnecessary. LG minus left 10. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. The red we are not going to see anyways. The red is invisible. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So let me do another one. Another container here that we're gonna make cyan. Just because we can. Oh no. And I want this to also cover the width of the yellow and break out of the prose. What I can do is I can always make a W screen, always take up the width of the screen. Of course now it's going to peek out of here and have the piece that's missing here over there. Then I can make it relative and move it to the left by, what is it, 8, not pixels, 8. We're going to start with the narrowest breakpoint. What's happening? Okay, I understand why people complain about Safari sometimes, because it hangs in this responsive design mode. So I have now moved this to the left. And I also want to give it a px of 8. See how that's very similar to what we have up here. So it is the width of the screen. Oh no. Oh no. And now the text is, so I have everything, I move it, I shift it over to the side. I have some padding, and then we get to the SM breakpoint. And we see there's a gap here where it's not quite aligned the right way. So on SM we have minus left 9, and also if we did just that, the text would hang off of the left edge just a tiny bit, just like the half of the O. So we are on SM, also changing the px to 9. Oh 9, oh 9, oh 9. Oh 9, oh 9. And then on MD everything's still fine. On LG it's going to change again. Okay, so here something is off a lot. The width is still screen. Oh, what did I... No. Damn it, SM is negative left 9, SM is px 9, and LG is px 10. Now with the large I need what I have with the red, but why are those different now? On LG, because I have the px of 10, I need the left 10, which is what I had here, and the px 10 make up for that, right? Why is the width still off? Because I have, even if I have W screen, I also need max W 5XL. Does that seem right? Why is that off down here? So let's flip those around. And I forgot the not pros. Let's remove the cyan to see if we now are in the yellow every time. Well, that is disappointing. So this previous one that I had was incorrect. But this one seems to always match exactly. Let's add the grid and the gap of 8 so that we see what's going on. So I went down a deep rabbit hole before. This isn't as difficult as I thought it was. So on this breakpoint, it works fine. Ignore the green. This podcast card is always aligned with the yellow, even on this largest breakpoint. So everything I tried before I can get rid of, which means now we can get to the actual part that I wanted to get to today. Only 2 hours in. Sweet. So we are going to, on the medium breakpoint, go to grid calls 2. That was a nice reference. We're going to keep that in case I might need it later. And we can get rid of the yellow finally. I might not even need that container. This gap of 8 is a bit much on the small breakpoint. Let's hide because some of the links aren't, URLs aren't amazing. Let's go back to the podcast card. And let's make this let's make the title clickable. And not prose. I'd rather have it be prose and override a few margins than have to maintain the correct colors in there. So we go to here. Take you to text base. And was it no margin, right? M0. Why not bold? Font bold, I'd like it to be bold. Font weight bold, okay, why is the link not bold? This selector, okay. It is set because of prose where something something. Where A not where class not prose. It's always set to font weight. The link's always set to font weight 500. So set the font bold on here. Doesn't look amazing. Okay, they are not going to, they're going to be not pros. None of that. Font bold back here. And M0, no margins. No, they're not going to be not pros, they're going to be pros. Which way around is it now? So on the smallest breakpoint, MD seems too early to break them into 2 columns. I'm gonna go just on the largest breakpoint. And here seems fine. They're all called the art of product now. I'm gonna have to update that off stream. I also thought, and I want to see how that would work, that I would add some body to each podcast, like give a short description, give a paragraph, maybe the description that they have in their feeds themselves. In here, I thought I could add some paragraph tags, but that might be nested too deeply now. On this show, the host and frequent guest hosts talk about. I'm gonna fill that with life later. Now that would mean that the podcast component receives some children. And the children are React node. And after the header, you have a, let's say main, sure, why not? A children here. Okay, why did it mess up with the... Why did it mess up with the nested and the indentation before? Weird. Okay, but that is fine. If I wanted to add another paragraph here, then it messes up. Why is that now? It just copied. So adding an empty line makes one of the plugins go haywire. I'm not gonna fix it, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep the text as is. Now this would look so much better with the right logos. Bootstrapped web, bootstrapped FM. We had that in the RSS feed earlier. That is that image. Save it to bootstrapped. Place this, and 2 paragraphs is unlikely anyways. This doesn't work so well with the logo now, so this needs a different layout. Not a flex, but a flex column layout. And then it's fine to have the padding on everything again. And I don't need this container around that. What's with all this padding though? Because there's some padding on the paragraphs here. What's with all this space? Is that the typography plugin again? One's for the byline. To go to M0, and then for the paragraph in here, but they let us override that in the plugin, right? I can do pros p colon this is... Now I get to a point where this becomes too annoying, so let's turn off all the pros classes. Okay, then all the removal of these margins I don't need to do. And instead I want to add some space after this. After all, MB2. And after the image also. Does it work if it's center aligned? Yeah, kind of, sure. But then we might have to go to 2 columns earlier. Okay, now what's the full thing? The image isn't clickable. I'd probably expect to click the entire card, but I'm gonna put it on the logo. Text isn't center aligned. That needs to be center aligned as well. In the header, it would be flex call and item center. Might not need the header anyways. And text center on the main element. Not sure. Not sure how. This would depend on how much text goes in here. Give some more space after this. I'd also definitely expect the image to be clickable. And let's run a linter because it's probably going to complain a bunch about this one now. Take your time, no rush, no rush. Go. Img elements must have an alt prop, either with meaningful text or an empty string for decorative images. So this image, it wants me to put a title on, an alt text on, and the alt would be just the title of the podcast. Also, don't use the image tag at all. Use image from next image instead. Sure, can do. So we're going to import image from next image. Then we are going to replace the img tag with the image tag. I'm going to wait for it to scream at us. Because how dare you? You must use width and height or layout fill. So if I do layout equals fill, save it. I get a missing required source. Where? Why? So we have an artwork URL here, and here, and here, and here. Here, and here, and here. Ah, one of the images was blank earlier. Because I don't really have the images. So I can't find anything for the build your SaaS. You also become art of product now. Don't have an image for slow and steady, so okay, that wasn't it. So it is filling up this thing over here, but that's not what we want. Instead, I'm going to have to put the size on the, let's do the link. Yeah, let's do the link, why not? H24 and W24. And the MB2 as well for the bottom margin. So we have a container, and it's fine if the image wants to fill that container. Not quite. Not quite. What's up with that now? Okay. What? Image inside of a span. The image component itself puts a span around this. The link itself, which is somewhere here, has the correct size. Let's not make this more difficult than it needs to be. Have you tried putting it in a div? That doesn't do anything either. Okay. Can I set height to 100% and can I set width to 100% as well? Because it complains if I don't have those two set. I must use width and height properties or layout fill property. There we go. Now can I set that on the link tag directly? Yeah, doesn't make a difference either. So I can click this, I can click that, and I see in the bottom left it goes to the right page. If the cards are this small and there's not much text that goes in here, I might even we might even go to 2 columns earlier. So go to 2 columns on SM, on MD, go to grid calls 3. Reload it, check it out. I'm gonna take this full screen now. So on a small device, have 1 column of cards, then go to 2 columns of cards here. Just for a bit though, because then we're on to 3. That might be a bit early. So 3 we're going to do later. 3 we're only going to do on LG. And I also want to increase the spacing on them. So while the gap is 4 in the beginning, let's say on SM when we have 2 next to each other, it can still be 4. But on LG, I'm going to bump it up to, no, not grid, it's gap 6. Okay, so small screen, 1 card per column, then we have 2 next to each other. And then scale this up. Might need, okay, it needs more space on the medium. That looks a bit cramped here. So let's say we do MD early. And we do the 6 unit gap early. Here and there, and then on the... That might look too busy. That might look too busy, particularly if I want to add more text to it. But I mean, with the success, finally, after struggling with it for an hour, of having this break out of the container, I think this looks decent for, like, the width of the cards looks decent, and it's okay that it breaks out of the flow of the text here. Before I can continue, and I don't want to do that on stream because that sounds incredibly boring and tedious, I will replace the images. I will move all of these into cards as well, so that we can see what it will look like if I have this filled with a bit more realistic text. Like, let me write a letter, a sentence of description. We might revisit that on the next stream. I think I'll do some preparation for the content, and then we're going to see how we can make that work well on, like, with real proper content on it. I'm exhausted now because fighting with the margins and with the calcs, and then in the end not having to do any of that at all, took a bit of energy. Thank you for enjoying me struggling with this. I hope I will have to put this in my documentation somewhere, because that is something that I see myself doing a lot, where I do want to use the typography plugin, but then sometimes want to break out of it. I have to remember how to do that. Next stream will be on Thursday, 10 p.m. Central European Time. Sorry for the technical hiccups I had today. I think the stream got interrupted for a bit in the middle there. But I will see what I can do about that for next time. I desperately need to go to relax after this. This was exhausting. Thank you for following along, and I will talk to you again very soon. Have a lovely evening, and I said talk to you soon, right? Talk to you soon. Bye bye.